Hello walkers, and welcome to Red Lodge, Montana. It is a cold day today. For early August. It seems more like October or maybe May. It's 50 degrees Fahrenheit, 10 degrees Celsius, about 10:45 in the morning. What else do I normally say? I think that's kind of it. Thank you to our Patreon supporters. Your support is both moral as well as financial, and I really do appreciate it. If anyone would like to join our Patreon group, you can find a link in the description of the YouTube video. So today, we're going to come to Red Lodge. I've filmed here a couple times before, or at least once, but we had some flooding in June, and Red Lodge is one of the places that really got hammered, and it's a great little community here, beautiful town on the edge of the Beartooth, and in fact it's one end of the Beartooth Highway, which is Charles Kuralt called the most beautiful road in America, and I have to agree that it's up there. We started off at Broadway and 7th. Broadway is this main drag. This is 8th Street we're crossing. Across the way is the Carbon County Museum. We are in Carbon County. That parking lot where we started actually has 4 electric vehicle charging stations. I thought that was interesting. It has more than Livingston does, and it's a smaller town. But then they get a lot of people coming through to ride or drive the Beartooth Highway. In fact, I've seen quite a few Harleys and other touring bikes here today. There's a couple bikes here. I think you can rent these 3-wheeler things over there, which would be a fun way to drive the Beartooth. They also have a motorcycle rally here every summer. I can't remember exactly when it is, but Bone Daddy's Custom Cycles across the way could tell you. So the goal for today is to have a nice, enjoyable tour and exploration of Red Lodge, Montana. By the way, my name is Henry. I will be your proxy walker today, your virtual travel guide, your co-discoverer. I say virtual travel guide mainly for the keyword aspect, search engine optimization. A little cynical, but that's the world we live in. But it's really about finding and discovering interesting little things and side things that might not be in the main 10 best things to do lists, things that you might discover if you were walking around here yourself. Off to the right is sort of a residential area, more residential area once you get past those 2 stores. There's a couple parks over there. Apparently there's a farmer's market going on today. I saw a sign for that. But here's a mural. It's kind of cool. Definitely got a blue shade going on there. Hi there. And we'll find some of these shops. Now, people have often, or especially recently, said, well, you should go into these stores. And I would love to go into these stores and film that, but they are private property. And I don't want to just barge in with a camera and start filming without permission. And getting permission is often way more complicated than just walking in and asking. You know, I've tried it, and sometimes people are like, yeah, fine. A lot of times people want to talk to their manager, want to get permission, and it becomes a whole thing. So, long way of saying that that's one of the reasons I don't usually go inside these shops, although I do look in the windows. This is pretty cool. It's called Market 5555. I love these old West buildings, right? These early 20th, late 19th century buildings. Oops. It's old shops. I believe Red Lodge has really rallied these little communities, these mountain communities. They they really do a great job of supporting themselves and each other within the community. And then, you know, the state and federal government has come in and helped a lot as well. FEMA's come in, I believe. And I shouldn't talk too much because I don't know the details of how it's been here. I know they've been going door to door, and FEMA's been going door to door asking if people have been affected by the flood and if they need help. That's pretty cool, I think. The Pollard Hotel across the way is a historic hotel. Beautiful old historic rooms, great little restaurant, bar. Definitely a great place to stay if you want to. There's several other hotels. We'll pass one. I haven't been to Piccola Cucina yet. This seems relatively new. But maybe it's not. Maybe I just haven't been here in a while. Lewis and Barks Pet Supplies, I guess. Crossing 11th here. A lot of great little shops along here in Broadway. And we'll make our way up to the head of town because that's where things started to go awry back in June. And where the river here, and now I'm totally blanking on the name of the river, but it, or creek, and overflowed its banks and actually was flowing down Main Street, or this Broadway. So this is the Montana Candy Emporium here. It's an old movie theater or other theater, and they've converted it to this candy shop, which is really cool. It's a fan favorite, kid favorite. You got some outdoor shops here. Bogart's Restaurant. I've eaten there a few times. It's pretty good. It's also kind of a bar scene. The Red Lodge Cafe. Maybe I've eaten at the cafe. Not for a long time. You got coffee shops. Ooh, the Southern Dish. Sounds like it could be good. Kitchen and home. There's a little demonstration going up here to repeal recreational marijuana in Carbon County, or in this area, which, you know, good for them if they want to do that. And across the way is an old bank building. Hi there. Hi.
Are we going to get on film here?
No, I'm facing the other way.
All right.
Not without permission.
That's all right.
Have a good one. I said I don't try not to film those things without permission, not because I have agree or disagree, but I don't like to shove a camera in people's face without a little heads up. Prerogative Kitchen, that looks like it could be good too. A lot of great little bars in here. Some of them I don't remember. A lot of them I haven't been to yet. But it's a great little town. So the folks back there, I don't know if you heard, but they said, "Welcome to Red Lodge," which was, I thought, great. And I probably, honestly, should have stopped and chatted with them a little bit. Red Lodge Pizza. We've eaten there. That's pretty good too. Oops, sorry. And across the way they have a single screen movie theater in that old building. I love it. The Black Canyon Bistro, I think used to be called something else, but was a restaurant before. And then you've got, felt a raindrop, Carbon County Steakhouse. I haven't eaten here. I'd love to, but I live with vegetarians. But it's really a awesome little space, especially having this outdoor seating for the summer and the lighting. I bet it's awesome there at night. Crossing 13th. Oh, I smell a bakery. Oh, it smells good. You see this sign here on 13th, public and RV parking. It's definitely a tourist-based economy here. I think also there's a lot of agriculture, and then I assume a lot of people work over at the Stillwater mine. Scoops is not open. Looks like it has not been. Oh, the Cattail Bakery, that's what I'm smelling. Oh, you guys, it smells so good. And I'm trying not to eat so many sweets. Otherwise, I would totally go in there. Red Lodge is a beautiful little town, and it's got that downtown area, but then you get into the residential areas, and they've got all these historic buildings. I don't know if they're historic is the right term, but they're old, and they're cute, and mostly well maintained. And I don't know, I just like it. I think it can be rough to make a living here because you get about 4 months of tourist season, and then things slow down. Although they do have a ski hill here, Red Lodge Mountain, I think it's called, crossing 14th, which is about 6 or 7 miles outside of town. And unfortunately, because of the low clouds here, you can't see just the gorgeous mountains that start right on the edge of town almost. Lots of amazing hiking trails, lots of camping. There's a Nordic trails here up off to the west. We're actually headed mainly north here. No, I'm sorry, I always get those mixed up. South, I get it mixed up because we are headed south because the mountains seem like they should be to the north, but they're actually to the south here. I do that over in Bozeman too. See, look at these great little homes. This one's a big home, but with their these old trees, mature trees, not necessarily old. You can go up on the bench up there, some old roads to explore. And so my plan here is to go up here. We'll see a place where they have some art, and then we'll get into you'll start to see some of the more obvious damage from the flood. Which is, hi there, which is, I don't know how to say that. It's very local and small in some ways, but very impactful to this community. It was one big day. We've been hearing about the floods in eastern Kentucky recently, and there's certainly they've had a week or more of flooding and just really rough time over there. And this lasted a day or two here, but man, it really hit this town hard. And I'm happy to see, you can see, I suspect these round rocks is river cobble that got washed down and just hasn't been taken care of. The yard here is really silty. So you can start to see some of the impacts here. And once the water recedes, a lot of these houses were probably flooded in their crawl spaces and in their basements, if they have them, lower stories. Down in Roberts is a fairly well-known crow artist named Kevin Redstar, and he has some just amazing paintings, very stylistic, but really cool. But there's some outdoor art here, and the one I want to show you, I've showed before, is this moose, and it's this artist Lee Kern, and I don't know if it's a he or she or what, but I just love how they use this, which I think is driftwood or old roots, and looks like maybe they do a little bit of carving on it, but they use the pieces to really, and stain and the grain of the wood to really give a texture to the sculptures. This is a moose. Further down they have an elk and a grizzly, or a grizzly and a bison, I guess. I just find these extremely beautiful, and like the way they found something to use for these legs, the bends of the legs there, I just love it. And then you've got some other stuff like this. You've got some murals, but you've also got this awesome bench, which looks like it weighs about 1,000 pounds, but still beautiful. And I've this sculpture here, which looks almost African. And then this is great too, with these flowers on this post, and then this flower hanging. I don't know, just really cool. It's called the Flower Gate, and I just really like it. I think it's beautiful. And I wanted to share that with you guys. I hope it brings you a little joy too. And then up here, we've got some more of these interesting, off to the beach sculpture. And then I really like these too. It's called Woodstock or Bust. You can hear some of the motorcyclists going by on their tours. I mentioned the weather is so cold. I'll tell you in just a second. But this coming up, this is the Yodeler Motel. We've stayed here a number of times. It's kind of a quirky little alpine themed hotel. Definitely got a 50s vibe to it, or 64, I guess. It's probably like the 50s in the rest of the country. But I just love it. It's kind of awesome, right? It's got a bunch of different rooms. Got these old heaters in there. I don't know. I can imagine being here in the 60s. Starting to get a little rain here. Oh, the temperature. So it's 50 here right now. It's about 55 in Livingston where I live. Yesterday it was 85. Day before that it was 95. Tomorrow it's going to be 88, and it may be hit 100 by Wednesday. So we've got this really strange but welcome cold snap that has come through. You can see some of this damage from the floodwaters, and you can see, I'll show you up here where it was. But anyway, we got a bunch of rain last night. Not too much, but a nice chunk of solid rain. And that was also welcome because it's been dry for the month, and the plants can use it, the forest can use it, and it's nice to get a respite from the 90s plus degrees. So this is the Eagle's Nest Motel. I don't know if that it was actually active before, but you can see what all this river rock and detritus got washed up in here, and I think it's been pushed around again by heavy machinery, but they didn't bring it in here for sure. It's crossing 18th, and then you can see the hotel across the way, the Lupin Inn. Lupin is a beautiful wildflower here if you are not familiar. Looks like a miniature hollyhock in some ways, but they're typically blue. I think they might have some other colors as well, maybe a light whitish yellow, possibly. Somebody fact check me on that in the comments. Here is, you can see the sidewalk just annihilated here. I don't know if this building was inhabited or not, but it's certainly not now. This was a really neat building here, and it got hammered. You see the garage door pushed in. Obviously not inhabited right now. Got some bikers, motorcyclists going to cruise the highway. So I'm going to swing you around here. Look, this building is just full of debris, like river debris, not even garbage so much as just tons of broken up trees and limbs and all that sort of stuff. I hope you can see in there. I don't want to go too close because it is private property and it is posted. You can see this tree here. I think that sewer line pipe was probably excavated. It was chilly. Go up here. This road is closed, but you can see how there's a riverbank, but it kind of I'm gonna use my hand here, kind of goes down here to banks away. So once it got up above that bank, it just filled in here and went slooshing down Main Street, down Broadway. And it was a real big problem. A lot of damage, a lot of destruction. We'll go up here to the bridge, and you can see some of the bridge got banged around. You know, some of this was probably as part of the aftermath when they came in and you can see, oh, look at that. See, that was such a cool building. That was all yard, I believe. Check the other video to see what it looked like, because I believe we came up here. Oh, and you can see a couple trees down across the river down there. Definitely not a place you want to go tubing right now. And just a lot of the power of how this water came through here and scoured it clean. Scoured away the topsoil in a lot of places, left a lot of silt, and that sort of thing. We'll continue on up here. And hi there, how are you? Just the power of nature is pretty amazing. Look at this retaining wall. I don't know for sure, but I believe, for instance, that wasn't like that. I believe the sidewalk went through here, and the river came through and just annihilated this retaining wall, and it all collapsed in here. And it scoured out the other side of the river. I can't imagine those houses were unscathed, but they seem to be doing fine now. Just heavy force and power to do this kind of destruction. And it looks like a little creek right now, but it was like 20 times that. I know the Yellowstone River went from like 10 or 15 to 50 plus thousand CFS, 5 to 10 times in the matter of 12 hours or so. Here's the Red Lodge Inn, which doesn't look like it's open. They've seen a lot, like similarly to Gardner, though not to the same extent. They have been hit hard with the loss of tourism, loss of visitors, but looks like they're still going. Unlike Gardner, you can still get to the park from here, but just barely. You can go in a couple miles from Silvergate, Cook City and Silvergate, and that's about it. That road's closed. I'm not sure what they're going to do. The word is they're paving a different access road in from Gardner and hoping to have people be able to use it. Look at this. I think this used to be a big pullout. And that's what it looks like right now. You can see the warped and torn asphalt there. So they're hoping, and they have to, because in the winter, the only way to get to Cook City and Silvergate, the only way to get out of Cook City and Silvergate, the only way to get food in there or any kind of assistance for medical or legal is through the north entrance of the park. They shut down the Beartooth Highway because there's about 50 feet of snow on it, and they shut down the what is that? The other road that goes out to Cody. I can't remember the name of it right now, because of weather and snow. And so, you know, they basically have to leave. And that might be as soon as October if they had to do that. So that's why they're putting in such effort to pave this other road. And when they have it paved, my understanding is that they will allow ticketed entry. So you would have, sort of like the going to the Sun Road, I think you'd have to get a reservation and maybe pay an additional fee of some sort, but just to be able to go in. But for now, you can at least get there over the Beartooth Highway, pardon me, which is, if you ever get a chance to drive it, I highly recommend it. It's about 100 miles, I think, 70 miles maybe. Look at this beautiful, beautiful stream. Look at this clear mountain water. Oh, it's gorgeous. This is why people come to Montana. All right, we're going to cross over. So that's kind of, there's more of the same up ahead, but not too much more. And if it weren't further up, I'd take you to the studio of that artist that does the wood sculptures that I was heaping glowing praise on. But we're going to cross over to maybe not. Maybe we'll head back first. Cross over when the traffic eases up a little bit. See if we can't do a little exploring and see some of these cute, I keep wanting to say cute, but it's not very manly of me, is it? I'm not very macho. Well, but I'm going to say anyway, cute little old houses, you know, and try not to have too much wind noise here. It's hard to imagine the change of weather and how sudden it is. You know, we had to close up our house to keep the heat out the last 3 or 4 weeks. Because not many people out here have air conditioning, because you really only need it, or you don't even really need it, but you really only want it maybe a month, but usually 3 or 4 weeks, 3 weeks. So what we do is we open up at night, it gets down to 60s, mid 60s, maybe turn a fan on to help, and then you close up during the day as soon as the sun comes out and the heat, the outside temperature gets higher than the inside temperature. And it usually works pretty well. But still, the inside temperature gets up into the 80s sometimes on a really hot day. So now to be walking around in 50-degree Fahrenheit weather is unusual. It's a unique experience. I keep wanting to make a t-shirt. You know, Chicago's always like, you don't like the weather, welcome to Chicago. If you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. And I give credit to a buddy of mine who said something else. He said, and I elaborated on a little bit to be fair. I love these old wooden log cabin type houses. I think these might be rentals because I don't see, like long-term rentals, because I don't see any hotel or other sign. It's almost like an old dude ranch. Super fun. Not kit home. Well, there is one kit home, but most of these are original recipe cabins with wood cedar shake roofs. So I think this road must have gotten washed out to a certain extent. This is Hauser Avenue, and there's some more log houses over there, and this is Fountain Park, and so those must be privately owned, so it's private. There's some other buildings down there. Here. This is the Lupin Inn. We'll just go down this closed road. I was going to say something before I got distracted. Something both very important but also not important enough to remember, I guess. When I go back and edit this, I'll have to remind myself, give myself a little kick about what I meant to say. If you haven't checked out our website yet, please do so. citywalksvirtualtours.com. I'll put a little bug up on the screen a couple times throughout the videos and a link in the YouTube description. So I've been going through and uploading, posting all the sort of the library of, I think we're up around 300 or more walks now, over time, and they're all categorized and searchable by keyword, and sometimes I put a little extra in there and a little extra information. Very kind person stopping to let me cross. So you might check those out, and eventually I'm going to be posting other people's walks that I enjoy and think you guys might enjoy as well. Tiny little houses. But that's the way things used to be, right? We didn't have these 3,000 square foot homes. We were all fine with our 800 square foot home. And I have to admit that having traveled a lot and stayed in a lot of small European and Central American apartments, it's not hard to get used to that smaller space. Humans are very adaptable animals, and we are able to quickly adapt to almost whatever situation we find ourselves in, given enough time and resources. If you're from Red Lodge, I have a question for you. I'm curious if this construction is due to the flooding, or if it was regularly scheduled maintenance of the road. Property prices have been going up the last few years here in Red Lodge, similarly to other places in the area, in the region. But still fairly affordable compared to Bozeman or Seattle or LA or New York. Getting a little rain, so hopefully we won't get too much on the screen here. Brr. still on Hauser and coming up on 16th for those of you following along. I'm curious. A couple deer up here on the right. Where was I the other day? Oh, Gardner, right. Looked over and there was a couple deer, a couple elk. Hi there. Those are young ones too. Try not to make them too worried. You see them by the minivan there. I've been spending a lot of time last week continuing to plan our trip to Italy, and I'm looking forward to filming a lot of walks in the Dolomites and down south and Rome and Venice and all that stuff. So that should start sometime in September, posting those. It's a neat fence here with these skis. And hopefully you guys will enjoy those. So off to the left we have the town pool. I'm going to show you that. A lot of these small towns, it's a great investment for them to build something like this, and it gives, especially if you don't have a river nearby, well, it helps you teach your kids to swim for one thing, and then, you know, when it is 100 degrees out or 95, it's a great place to come cool off. They have an interesting ramped section over there. Looks like a kiddie area maybe, and also ADA accessible. This is 14th we're crossing. I believe a lot of this is flood detritus, although it might be something else. You know, the sidewalk's covered. I don't know about the building. I think that might be just a remodel. It's a nice fence. I just recently redid a little decorative picket fence in my front yard, about 40 feet, and cutting all those pickets and painting everything and all that ended up being more of a project than I really wanted, but it got done. And honestly, sometimes it's better to have those jobs that last longer. It's a little extra discipline, at least for me. It's kind of a New West modern style building. I like that one. It's got metal on the bottom and rough hewn boarding on the top. Oh, Cocker Spaniel having a run. Oh, 40 minutes here. Over to the left, we saw a sign earlier that said RV and public parking, and that is the lot over there if you want to come here and visit and see that. They also have a visitor center, Visitor Information Center. I pointed out the County Museum. Pardon my tongue-tiedness. And it's a really nice museum. I've been in there a couple times. A lot of good stuff on mining and the history as well, particularly about some of the founding families and the, I think, if I'm recalling correctly, there's I think it's Finnish population or history here, people from Finland. They were either brought in or came in a long time ago. And, they have some cultural stuff about that, which is pretty cool. We just passed the post office. All right, so from here off to the left is some nice homes and that sort of thing, big church. And then we get into some stores and that sort of thing. I think I'm gonna wrap this up at 40 minutes as we make our way back to Main Street. I'm gonna find some lunch here in the near future, and then I'll head out and maybe do another walk, but maybe not. We'll see. In any case, thank you for joining me. I really do appreciate it. I love your support. Love getting your comments. Check out the website, Facebook page if you're into that. My Instagram has gone a little, they've switched it over to the new version, which is more like TikTok, and I don't care for it, so I haven't been posting much to that. Let's go down this alley. I like a good alley. But I'll post something here and there. And you can check me out at Traveling Filmmaker as well, which is another Instagram handle I have. And come on back next week. We'll have another walk for you. Not sure where, not sure how, not sure what it's going to be like. Probably be warm. But maybe I'll do Passage Falls. Anyway, that'll be for another day decision. And thanks again for joining us. We'll see you again soon. Until then, keep on stepping.